Here's how luck finds you. And so I saw somebody share a meme on Instagram, and it instantly made me want to save it as a wallpaper. I never saved anything as a wallpaper on my cell phone. Well, that's a lie, but it's been a while. Um, and so, and this was shared by at ad. Okay, you can't see shit, but at ad wiser or whatever. Um, ADWIZAR. And it's how luck finds you, and it's 10 things. And well, I couldn't crop it so I could see everything, but I can pretty much make out most of it. Just give me a second. So the first thing is work harder than expected. And so something that I thought was pretty interesting to learn when I started playing sports back as a teenager was running through the finish line. It wasn't enough to see, okay, we got to just stop here, whatever. Like, run through it. It's a baby mama. Yeah, it's not enough to just, okay, here we are, run through it. That little extra bit of effort goes a long way. Where a lot of people, they would do the bare minimum and stop there. You can go past that. And what's interesting about that is that you can find a certain point where most people would stop, or what the average of the most person is, and then you just go above it. And now you're above average, and you have above average results. At my best, I remember this. How much does the average person read a day or a year? Or how much does the average person write a day? Find that, go past it. So just work harder than most, and I will combine that with work smarter, but it's, whatever. Together, separately, go above what's expected. You know. So the next thing is to be teachable. And if there's one thing I realized about myself and a lot of others, and I'm not really like this anymore, and everybody's not like this, is that you start to learn a little something, especially after you get a little age on you, and then you just try to coast and you try to answer life's questions based on what you already know, or what you knew, what your mama told you, what the church told you, whatever it is, and then that's it. That's it. It doesn't stop. Your learning just stops there, and can't nobody tell you anything. Especially if you reach a certain age, and now younger people are trying to tell you something like, "Hey, listen, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this." Now younger people can't tell you anything or whatever. But if there's anything that I learned from these past years of learning, is, I don't really know too much of anything, and I will fully admit that as an author, as a father, as a 30-year-old, as somebody who runs a YouTube channel. The more I learn, the less it really seems like I know, and it seems like I can't learn enough. And every time I have a problem, I'm not going at it alone. Really, I'm always doing my research. I always want to see what other people have to say about it, and I'm a very teachable guy. I'm a student. I'm a student of everything. I'm still looking up 1 plus 1. Really, I just got to be sure that it still equals 2. I don't know with this new math. Probably not. And if you ask me, 1 plus 1 equals 3. And ask me how I know. You know. But anyway, and the next part is to give unselfishly. And that just means giving without really expecting something in return. Now, if I tell you to give unselfishly or to give, I'm not saying, to give yourself until dig until you dig a grave for yourself, but give when you can. You know what I'm saying? Tip a little extra when you can. And don't even expect too much about it. I feel like my YouTube channel is a great example because I just give out a lot of just free game, and ultimately I'll package up a lot of this stuff and I'll put it in the book and things like that, and it's just fine. But everything doesn't have to come with a price tag, and uh, just do what you can for others. All right, simply put. And so the next one is just to read and write more, which I kind of already spoke on, but there's just a lot of, as far as writing goes, there's a lot of, well, there's a lot of power in both, but because I was just talking about journaling, there's especially a lot of power in journaling and just getting all your thoughts out there and being completely honest and vulnerable with yourself, because you can't really be honest and vulnerable with others until you can find out how to do that with your goddamn self, man, in a true, authentic fashion. And simply put, reading more just gives you more knowledge of whatever field you're in, whatever situations you may be finding yourself in, whatever it may be, just to be more knowledgeable and to increase your skills as a problem solver, and to increase your intellect, your intelligence, your wisdom, your know-how, all of these things. I don't need to sell you on that. You understand the concept. The next thing is to show up on time. Now I learned that in construction, really, where I mean, goddamn, the job will start at 5, and you kind of expected to be there at 5, or not 5, but like 15 minutes earlier, 4:45, and things like that. And I think it's just a great rule of thumb, not even just out of respect for people who are waiting on you, because I think it's a sign of disrespect when you do waste somebody's time like that and leave them waiting for you, although things happen. But it's just good, like, even if you show up for a job that you hate, you show up early, whatever, it gives you some time to yourself, and you can just kind of prepare yourself for the day, as opposed to being like really flustered and you got to scramble, whatever. Now you're burning extra energy just scrambling, and just like not really giving yourself time to think. And I think that it's just that works for you, to just be on time. I feel like being on time just, well, I mean, that's what this is about, but being on time does afford you some type of luck that other people don't have, just because of what I just said will happen if you are late, if you are running behind and stuff like that. And I don't need to really speak too much on how running behind or being late just stresses the hell out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about keeping that calm mind and putting yourself in the best position to win and to do well, and just to start everything off right. You want to start things off on a good foot. So why not be on time? So the next thing is to quit complaining. And I'm big on putting things in perspective and big on stoicism, but it's just, I understand that complaining doesn't make things any better. It actually just makes things worse, because it's like, okay, yeah, you spilt the milk, and yeah, you can bitch about it, but whether if you bitch about it or not, you still got to clean it up. You know what I'm saying? You can complain about what was done, but it's already done. So it's like, it doesn't mean that you don't address it. If somebody did something wrong you or whatever it is, or somebody just did something wrong, you know, it doesn't mean that you don't call it out, but you got to spare yourself as far as like putting your emotions towards, as far as anger goes, and just complaining about certain things. Discernment matters, because some people don't give a fuck that they wronged you, and I don't know, maybe that does cause for a little confrontation, even if just that one time. But in a lot of cases, we complain about shit that, I mean, we can't control, we can control. We complain about, oh, I gotta get up and go to work, but you knew you had to go to work, so it's just like, okay, no different than how it's always been. Just get up and do it, and don't complain about it, even if it's going to be tough. And well, there you go, problem solved. You can save yourself a little bit more energy. In fact, without complaining, without putting that anger into your life, you can open yourself up for something more positive. Positive music, positive conversations, podcasts, whatever it may be. Okay? The next thing is develop good manners. All right? Just to be respectful towards people. And I kind of briefly looked over what some of the next things are going to be, so it's kind of a common theme. It's just like, you never know what other people are going through. You never know the amount of disrespect somebody has to go through. Somebody may have just lost someone, just having a tough day. Just practice good manners, and just by default, and let people earn your disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Um, Simply put. And so the next thing, be humble and show gratitude. Um, so it's just showing appreciation for life in general, or to your God, and to the people who helped you get to where you are, and understand, like, no matter how great things are going for you, they can your fate can change in any given moment, and there are people out there struggling. So it's just good to have this like mentality where it's like, sure, be grateful for the things that you got, enjoy the hell out of it, enjoy it till fucking wheels fall off. And I understand there are some points in your life where being humble may not just cut it, but for I think that it's a great rule of thumb to understand that there are people just struggling quite a bit, and just allow it to not make you have survivor's remorse, but to really appreciate what you have. Even if you feel like you barely getting by, you know what I'm saying? You're still richer than a lot of people in this world. That's why I'm never stunting. Like, I get it, but some of the guys, they be talking about the shoes that they got, and be having little chest beating contests about I got these shoes, I got these clothes, whatever. And I ain't stunting. People might laugh at me because I don't really care too much about fashion and stuff, but my philosophy is like, man, look, man, I know people who got holes in their shoes and that's all they got. So I'm not going to be. I don't really feel a need to gloat about anything. Okay, I'm just happy for what I got, and I'll be happy to get a little bit more. That's not gonna stop me from going after all that I can get. Make no mistake about that shit. But I'm not. I'm no matter what, and I can honestly tell you, no matter what good comes in my life, I'm never gonna shit on people. Never gonna feel the need to shit on people or look down on people, because people are just hurting. Everybody's just trying to do the best they can to make their lives a little bit better. To get by, serve their time in this world, and go on. So just keep that in mind, man. No matter how good you look, no matter how great your life is, whatever. Be kind and generous. I kind of just spoke on that. Just that's it. I mean, be kind and be generous. Need I say more? And so the last thing, it's kind of subjective, and it's in one particular context is not always readily available, but it's surround yourself with smart people. And I think the great alternative to this is, because we live in a 21st century, and we live in these modern times, really allow for us to tap into some of the greatest thinkers, in your opinion, my opinion, whatever, to tap into their minds and their way of thinking through with a tool like this, like a Kindle. And then you get to read from, I don't know, some of the greatest philosophers, self-help gurus, or investors, or whatever the subject is. I think um, that that's highly relative, and it's very powerful when you can download information from people who lived lives that you couldn't even imagine, who lived a lot longer than you, or lived in different times that calls for different measures that could very well help you in your particular situation. That's very powerful. But again, when I say smart is subjective, because somebody can have a very high basketball IQ but wouldn't necessarily translate to the tech world or whatever. And so I think it's very important to kind of calibrate that to what it means to you, what that means in your field. If it's philosophy for you, just tap in and read up as many philosophy pieces as possible. If it's tech, if it's in the science world, and so on and so forth. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you just throw away the people who are already in your life. They are kind people. These people are put into our lives for a reason. Some aren't here to stay, and some you'd be glad that they do stay, but you don't necessarily throw them away because they aren't into what you're into. But don't don't take away the chance for you to further your studies in whatever field, whatever aspect of life, just because it's not right there in front of you. You know, it's great to be a seeker of sorts, a seeker of the things that you are already immersed in. And with that being said, that's how luck finds you. I hope this helps.